The Justice Department said Friday that it will not prosecute Attorney General Merrick Garland for contempt of Congress. Now, this decision comes under 48 hours after the House voted to hold him in contempt for defying a subpoena. The matter related to audio recordings of President Biden's interview with Special Counsel Robert Hur, as opposed to just the transcripts which were provided. CBS News congressional correspondent Nicole Killian joins us now from Capitol Hill. So, Nicole, talk to us about what happened, because we understand the DOJ informed Speaker Johnson in a letter. Walk us through that.
Yeah, that's right. And basically what the Department of Justice said is that the Attorney General's refusal to comply with this congressional subpoena to turn over those recordings that you just referenced regarding that interview between President Biden and Special Counsel Robert Hur did not constitute a crime. Furthermore, they argue that the longstanding position of the department is that we will not prosecute an official for contempt of Congress for declining to provide subpoenaed information subject to a presidential assertion of executive privilege. And so that is significant because the department did exert executive privilege, or the White House rather exerted executive privilege over those recordings. And that's basically why Garland didn't turn over that material. Furthermore, lawmakers were provided with transcripts. And so the department argues that we did try to comply to the best of our ability with Congress's request.
All right, guys. So maybe, just maybe, we will finally see the cojones of the GOP descend, okay? Because we got to talk about this story involving Representative Paulina Luna, who is relentless in going after Democrats, which is what the whole party should be trying to do, and holding Democrats accountable, flexing power the same way that Democrats flex power on the GOP, okay? Because she is refusing to back down from her threat of having Merrick Garland arrested for his refusal to turn over the Biden audio tapes that the DOJ captured while they were investigating Biden for knowingly and willingly taking classified documents with the intent to profit off of them. Despite the congressional subpoena, the DOJ, led by Merrick Garland, is saying, nah, we're not going to do it, right? So Republicans ceremoniously held Merrick Garland in contempt of Congress. And then the DOJ decided, you know what? We're not going to go after Merrick Garland. We're not going to investigate our own, right? We're going to ignore it. Basically giving an FU to Republicans, which again would defeat the whole purpose of oversight, right? Oversight means nothing if there is no consequences. And unfortunately, the reality is that the modern day GOP is weak. They're simply not strong enough to stand up to the Democrat Party. They're not. And the Democrats know this. This is why they defied the subpoena, okay? Because they're like, well, the GOP, all they're going to do is just do what they always do, which is to give a strongly worded letter, right? We're going to tell you not to do that again, or else we're going to give you another strongly worded letter, right? That has been the MO of the GOP for the longest time now, and I think that the American people are getting sick of it, okay? We're getting sick of the no-action GOP not actually holding Democrats accountable the same way that Democrats would do to Republicans, okay? When Democrats have power, when Republicans or conservatives, like, for example, a Steve Bannon says, hey, I'm not going to comply with your congressional subpoena, Democrats say, okay, we're actually going to arrest you, right? We're going to charge you and we're going to throw you in prison. This is what they do. Republicans should be doing the same thing, even if it is Merrick Garland, okay? Who, again, Paulina Luna is saying, listen, we should arrest this guy. Strongly worded letters are not enough. Let's actually do something, which apparently is a foreign concept to the GOP.
We are here today because of the double standard that exists within the justice system. As you know, on February 27th, the Oversight Committee, as well as House Judiciary, had sent a subpoena to Attorney General Garland, of which we received no response. And after referring him for criminal contempt within 48 hours or less, the Department of Justice refused to prosecute. Inherent contempt is clearly within our Article I authorities, and Congress does have the power to investigate all legislative powers. Investigations are part of our legislative process, and people that interfere with these processes should be held accountable. Inherent contempt was first used in 1795, and this was further upheld in a Supreme Court decision in 1927 in McGrain versus Doherty that stated that Congress does indeed have this authority. It's important to note that when an individual is called before courts across the country, they appear. Why should the Attorney General, who is supposed to be head of all law enforcement authorities, any different? Garland still has time to comply with this request. We are asking that he bring the tapes to the House and let us listen to them. But in the event that he does not, we will press forward with calling the privilege motion on inherent contempt to the floor on Friday morning. It is also important to note that if we as a Congress do not have the ability to enforce our investigative ability, that we are essentially going to be ignored and undercut and essentially handicapped by all other branches, which would make us not a co-equal branch of government.
Yeah, so it really is a damn shame that in 2024, it seems like the women in the GOP, specifically, again, Paulina Luna, has more cojones than a vast majority of the men in the Republican Party. It really is a damn shame, okay? But I gotta tell you, Paulina Luna has been super base. She's actually trying to do something instead of doing nothing, instead of rolling over, instead of turning the other cheek, which again is the specialty of the GOP, and it gets us absolutely nowhere. But hey, the good news is that it seems like Paulina Luna's resolution is getting some traction within the GOP. She's been trying to get support behind it. I mean, you even have Dan Crenshaw, aka Eye Patch McCain. He's coming out here and supporting this as well.
Hanging over the entirety of this administration is the fact that the president's son used his access to his father and his father's offices to enrich himself through foreign business dealings and artwork, where one buyer of Hunter's art was appointed to a U.S. government commission. While the Biden administration shields its own, it also targets regular Americans it dislikes. Gun owners with its unconstitutional ATF rules, parents at school board meetings labeled as threats by the FBI, and censorship of inconvenient information. This brings us here today. Congress, performing its oversight duties, has been ignored. Founders established a system of checks and balances, and that has been dismissed. Congress and the American people we represent have been disrespected, so we are here to say no more. We'll not stand by while the DOJ covers up information subpoenaed by Congress and refuses to comply with our vote holding the AG in contempt. It is not that the DOJ cannot prosecute Garland, it is that they're choosing not to because they wish to protect the president and his obedient lackey. And I understand that this sounds extreme. It sounds extreme to put the AG in handcuffs and drag him in here. And I'm here. I'll tell you why I'm here, what motivates me. Because what the DOJ is doing in my hometown in Houston, they're willing to arrest a regular citizen, put them in handcuffs, charge them with ridiculous crimes, and for what? Because that particular citizen, a man named Dr. Heim, decided to expose a crime in Texas. That crime was performing harmful gender transition practices on minors. He was indicted for alleged HIPAA violations. And this demonstrates that Merrick Garland and this DOJ's determination to target whistleblowers who oppose their ideology. They want to protect themselves, but they want to attack regular citizens. They aim to use the full force of our legal system to protect their allies and silence dissent. And we can't handle that double standard.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. Now, again, there's nothing extreme about this, right? I don't understand why people think that this is extreme. This is not extreme. You're arresting him because he failed to comply with a congressional subpoena. Now, again, if you set the precedent that, hey, it doesn't matter, that, people can be held in contempt of Congress and, nothing happens except, again, a strongly worded letter, then what does it mean? It doesn't mean anything. Oversight doesn't mean anything when you just allow people to do that, because we all know Democrats wouldn't allow it, right? They wouldn't allow it, okay? And in this situation right here, we're not asking for too much. We're just asking for audio tapes. Now, we have the written transcript of what Biden said. However, we want the audio tapes because it really doesn't make sense to a lot of the American people. Why in the world is Biden not facing charges for mishandling classified documents when the Special Counsel Rob Hur admitted under oath that, yeah, this guy knowingly and willingly took documents with the intent to make millions of dollars off of it and he showed sensitive information to his ghostwriter so that he could write a book in which Biden did profit millions of dollars. This is shut and closed corruption. Biden should be arrested and standing trial and behind bars. That is what should happen in a just country, right? A just country where the legal system treats everybody fairly and equally, okay? But no. Only Trump can be held accountable for taking classified documents, okay? Not Biden, okay? They'll make up all types of excuses for why it's different. It's not different. Nobody is above the law. Biden broke the law. Robert Hur admitted, yeah, this guy broke the law, but he's too old and senile to stand trial. This would be elder abuse, okay? This is essentially the argument, again, that was made by the DOJ. So, again, people rightfully want to know what in the world did Biden say during this interview in regards to how he said it, okay, which you can only get from the audio tapes, that would make Robert Hur feel like this guy in such bad shape that he can't even stand trial. Again, I think the American people have the right to know, okay? Now, again, Biden stepped in and stopped Merrick Garland from doing it by saying, hey, well, I'm exercising executive privilege. Don't release that audio tape, which, in my opinion, is weaponization. Biden weaponized his own Justice Department to not release these tapes, which they should. Again, this, administration claims that they want to be transparent, that they're the most transparent administration in history. But when it comes time to actually be transparent about Biden's mental condition, oh, well, they don't want transparency anymore. Okay? So, again, this is what's happening. And it looks like there's going to be a vote on this coming up soon. Okay? She's giving Merrick Garland 48 hours to hand over the tapes. A House Republicans' unsanctioned plan to force a vote on sending the chamber's sergeant at arms to arrest Attorney General Merrick Garland is meeting with strong resistance within the GOP, of course, okay? And nobody should be surprised in regards to who's pushing back against this. And I'm going to tell you guys why it's a mistake. The GOP continues to make this same mistake over and over and over again that Democrats don't make, okay? Because Democrats learned a long time ago, it really don't matter when you use all the power you can to punish your political opponent, especially when you're making the case that your political opponent is some type of existential threat, or that they broke the law, or that they need to be held accountable. They actually make moves to do that, right? They don't just talk and give out a strongly worded letter, because at the end of the day, they're making the case to their voters that, hey, this is justified for X, Y, and Z reasons, and this is why we have to take these measures. But for whatever reason, the GOP is afraid of doing that, okay? Because they're afraid they might lose votes, okay? Which is nonsense, okay? Democrats have already proved you don't lose votes when you do this, okay? In addition to raising substantive concerns, the vote is reigniting longstanding frustrations from rank and file Republicans about hardliners bypassing leadership and forcing rogue votes on the House floor. Well, I mean, the leadership should be on board with this. I don't understand why Mike Johnson would be against this. He should be the one that is leading this. And this is what I'm talking about when it comes to the leadership, okay? I get it. Mike Johnson's a nice guy. He's a nice Christian man. And I like that, okay? I would love to sit down and have a conversation and do Bible study with Mike Johnson, okay? I think I would probably be enlightened. But that's not what time it is right now, okay? It's not time for all that right now. We need people to get on board with holding Democrats accountable, okay? We don't have time to turn the other cheek right now, okay? We can't be doing that right now. I'm telling you. I'm so serious. Representative Paulina Luna sent a letter to House GOP colleagues Monday announcing her plans to force a vote this week on an inherent contempt measure directed at Garland. The move is a response to the Justice Department saying it won't prosecute Garland after House Republicans voted to hold him in contempt of Congress for refusing to turn over audio of President Biden's special counsel interview. The archaic, little-used process would, in theory, involve the sergeant at arms arresting Garland, bringing him to the Capitol for a trial, and then detaining him until he complies with his subpoena. Again, what's wrong with that? What is extreme about that? What is extreme about forcing this man to comply with a congressional subpoena? What is extreme about that? I don't understand. I don't get it. I really don't. Hell, they need to be using this more. They should be spamming this, okay? They need to do this when it comes to Fannie Pack Willis, okay? They need to have her arrested and force her to comply as well, too. They need to be doing this with Alvin Bragg, with all these Democrats. They should be doing this, okay? They should be spamming this. House Democrats proposed reviving the process during the Trump presidency to enforce their subpoenas through fines. Yeah, so again, what do we have here? Democrats showing that, yeah, we'll do this. Okay, we'll flirt with this, right? This is something that we will actually do, okay? Why is it that Democrats are always the ones to revive these extreme measures? Well, it's because they consider this stuff. They actually are willing to go all the way with it. With the GOP, though, it's like pulling teeth to get them to flex any type of power, unless they're doing it for Israel, right? Then it's pretty easy, okay? They jump up and down real quick to do something when it comes to Israel, okay? That's just kind of how it goes. There's considerable opposition to the measure among Republicans, enough to easily kill it, given the GOP's narrow majority, according to several lawmakers familiar with the matter. It was discussed at Republicans' weekly leadership meeting, said one House Republican telling Axios that people in the room don't want it to happen. Well, because they're cowards, that's why. Another GOP lawmaker said they expect a medium-sized minority of House Republicans to vote for the bill, potentially as few as 60 to 80 votes, because many members view it as an extreme tool, and that's the problem, okay? They're not cut out for this, okay? They're really not. House Speaker Mike Johnson has said Republicans plan to go to court to try to force Garland to comply with their subpoena. By then, it's probably going to be too late, right? They're going to try to slow walk it and say, oh, well, we're trying to do something. Okay, we're trying to take Merrick Garland to court. Again, how long is that going to take? We need it now, right? We asked for this a long time ago. We need it now. Rep. Kelly Armstrong, Republican, a member of the House Judiciary Committee, told Axios, quote, I made fun of my Democratic colleagues 2 years ago when they introduced their inherent contempt resolutions. Again, see, that's the problem. That's the problem. You making fun of Democrats for flexing power, for actually trying to do something. And then you guys want to always be above it. Oh, well, we're above doing that. Why? Did Democrats lose any votes from doing that? No, right? They didn't lose any votes. Democrats never lose votes when they flex power. So why is it that Republicans are afraid to flex power because they think that they're going to lose votes? Oh, it might look too extreme. Okay, us people that are in these moderate districts, we might lose voters. Again, that same logic doesn't seem to apply to the Democrat Party, whose moderate members are extremists, right? There are no real moderates in the Democrat Party. All of them are extremists, okay, to a certain extent. So, again, I don't understand it. Why is it always Republicans that are worried about losing votes, okay, or trying to appeal to moderates? Democrats don't worry about appealing to moderates. Now, again, there are some issues where, yeah, you got to appeal to moderates, okay? But on this right here, nobody gives a damn. They're not going to lose one vote by arresting Merrick Garland. Not one. Democrats never lose any votes. So why do Republicans think, oh, well, we're going to lose votes if we actually hold people accountable, right? It's sad. It really is. Quote, I don't know how you enforce it, and I don't know how you don't actually weaken our position. I'm assuming we're going to court very quickly on it, and I think that is the appropriate way to do it. Well, no, it's not, because we need it before the election, right? We need to have these audio tapes released so people can have some transparency when it comes to the state of Joe Biden, right? And why was he not charged with taking classified documents, okay? So again, you know, you have a measure in place that can get it done now quickly, and they're like, oh, well, I don't know how you enforce it. What do you mean? You go and you arrest the guy, right? That's how you enforce it. It's really that simple. You have holding facilities. I mean, if you didn't know how to enforce it, then why even have it? You can definitely enforce it. It has been enforced before, right? And you can do it again. Quote, I don't think that's even practical. Rep. Michael McCall of Texas, the chair of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, said of inherent contempt. Representative Don Bacon, a swing district Republican, signaled he is not yet prepared to vote for the measure, telling Axios he will listen for a while to the case for inherent contempt. So, yeah, we have the typical suspects, okay, that come out and say, oh, I don't know, maybe this is too far. Maybe we shouldn't do this. Maybe I might lose votes in the swing districts and the moderate districts, right? Which, again, I'm not sure if there's evidence out there to suggest that actually, you know, holding people accountable, holding Democrats accountable will make you lose votes. Okay, I don't know why the GOP is so afraid of this, but what I do know is that if this measure does come to the floor for a vote, any Republican that votes against it should be primaried, right? They should vote for this, okay? What is the point of holding people in contempt? What is the point of having power in the House if you're not going to flex the power and use the power to get what you want, to achieve your goals. Because again, we all know that Democrats would use whatever power that they can, which they have, okay? They have had Trump officials held in contempt of Congress, okay? And these Trump officials have been punished. But when it comes time to, let's do it back to the Democrats, oh, well, yeah, it might be impractical. I'm not sure how you do it. Again, it's always excuses and BS. And I'm sick of it, man. I really am. We need a strong GOP moving forward. We cannot do anything when we have such a weak party that's not willing to give Democrats a taste of their own medicine. And until they start to do that, then it's going to be really hard to get this country back on track, okay? So, again, once they actually grow some cojones, that's when we can move forward as a country and straighten things out, okay? But until then, it's going to be nothing but destruction and chaos caused by Democrats because Republicans are refusing to hold Democrats accountable. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.